Let's move on to our next team, and that is the Arizona Coyotes, looking to take a step forward this season, of course. And, they pounded the snot out of the Blackhawks the other night, an 8-1 victory. Wow. Michael Carcone with a 4-point performance. Something really cool from that game as well. Jack McBain had a Gordie Howe hat trick in that game, and the last time that two teammates, I think the other was Liam O'Brien, if I'm not mistaken. What's really cool about that, I heard this on Jeff Merrick's radio show earlier today. The last time that two teammates got Gordie Howe hat tricks in the same game, I forget the other player, but one of the guys was Jack McBain's dad. All those years ago, and now cool. his son did it the other night. So I thought that was pretty cool, just as a little side note.
Well, speaking of Gordie Howe hat tricks, I mean, it's named after Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, but do you know who actually leads the NHL in Gordie Howe hat tricks?
Is it Brady Tkachuk?
It's Brendan Shanahan.
Brendan Shanahan, wow.
So there you go. I heard that on a podcast ages ago, and it just came to my mind. So if someone has passed Brendan Shanahan by now, don't kill me in the comments. But I'm pretty sure that's the case. I heard it on a podcast a while ago. So there you go.
Yeah, and hey, I guessed Brady Tkachuk, and that's certainly a new age guess. But I wouldn't be surprised if him or Matthew ends up with that. With the most at the end of the day. But yeah, talking about Arizona and their next captain, this is kind of an interesting one as well. I think you could make a case for one or two guys. So what do you think?
So my pick was actually the player who is probably expected to score the most on the team. But when the team put up 8 goals the other night, he didn't have a single point, and that's Clayton Keller. I just thought that was kind of interesting because I'm playing against a team this week in our fantasy league who has Clayton Keller. So he could have won the week in one night if Keller went off, but it seemed like just everyone else went off, including, Carcone and McBain, and Alex Kerfoot, I think, had 3 assists. So, I was kind of lucky that Keller didn't. But yeah, I feel like this is a pick where, you want to, first of all, Keller is signed through 2028, I believe. Yeah, signed through 2027-28 season. Like I said, he's the best player on the team. He's a superstar. And not only is he signed for the longest on this team, he's also been there the longest. I don't know if he's the most tenured player on the team.
Yeah, he's close. Like, he's right behind Lawson Krause.
Okay, well, Krause, again, another guy. But, I mean, I think one is more valuable to the team than the other. And they've both been there for a long time. So, I don't know. I would reward Clayton Keller for his loyalty to Arizona. And I think he's a fan favorite, too, for all the reasons I mentioned. So, I would give it to Clayton Keller, though there could be another possible option or options out there. So who did you pick?
Well, I mean, I've got Keller as well. I think it's the obvious choice. You look at the breakout season that he had last year, and he has all of a sudden put himself in the conversation of being one of the greatest Coyotes of all time, and certainly has potential to do that or be the greatest Coyote at the end of the day when it's all said and done. And so he's a leader in that locker room with that young core, with Schmaltz and Krause and you add Logan Cooley into that mix and Dylan Guenther eventually and guys like that. But he is the heartbeat of that team, certainly offensively. He makes them go. And I just like some of the things that he said. I think he's a very laid back guy. I don't think very much bothers him. And he has come out and said that, he's a pretty loyal guy and he's loyal to the Coyotes and he likes the direction that they're going in. And so I think it's the most logical move to make him the next captain of the Coyotes.
Mm-hmm. Well, whoever is the next captain will be only one captain removed from the greatest Arizona Coyote, or Phoenix Coyote, that is, of all time, in Shane Doan, because there's only been one captain since Shane Doan, and his legacy and everything he built there lives on to this day, and the players still have so much respect for him. Everyone from Arizona and in that area does. So whoever it is will only be one captain removed. OEL was the other one, their last captain in 2020-21, who is off to a decent start in Florida, by the way. Looks pretty good, quarterbacking the power play there. But I just thought Keller made sense. The only way I could see him not getting the captaincy is if they want to wait for Logan Cooley, or if they decide that Lawson Krause is, because he signed a deal relatively recently too. If they decide that Lawson Krause is the guy because he plays with a bit of snarl and maybe he's more vocal in the room. So I could see any of those players getting named captain. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't come into this season with a captain, to be honest, though, because I feel like, it's kind of time. It's been a couple seasons now. OEL is gone. I don't know. I feel like they have some players who have been there for a while, some players who are locked up for a while. I don't know what the weight is now. They're competing now in their division. So
no, I know what you're saying, man. I kind of thought the same thing too. Like they, with them being competitive and wanting to take a step forward and be playing meaningful games down the stretch, and the early returns from the Coyotes look pretty good. It looks like they've got a real shot to be able to do that. But maybe one more year, and then next year when, they're expected to be pushing for a playoff spot, maybe that's when you name a captain, but shouldn't be too much longer, I don't think.
Yeah, it's very rare like that a team ever names a captain mid-season. I don't know if that's been done recently at all. I can't remember a time, so I would assume next year they will have a captain. But then again, who knows? Maybe they want to wait on Cooley. The argument against that is, well, they have some pretty good other players there as well who are still young, and it doesn't seem like they're waiting on them. So I don't know. I think Keller makes the most sense.
He does.
We'll see what happens next year.